Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. This is Us v World here, Ryan. Going to be discussing today something that I've seen, in a couple Reddit posts and a couple on the Battlefield Hardline forums. And it is Battlefront, the Star Wars game that's coming out in November or December, right next to the Star Wars movie. Is it going to be a reskin of Battlefield Hardline, a kind of Call of Duty-esque Battlefield, I guess you could say, with a little bit, sci-fi in there. And I'm here to tell you don't worry about that because, number one, I'm going to make 2 points here. One is DICE had said, the director of DICE had said that Battlefield in general, like the Battlefield games, are going back to its militarized format, not its, I guess, funny-ish kind of format. If you ever played like Battlefield Hardline, you know that like first of all, there's a whole bunch of criminals running around and they're calling it like a mass heist. That would be considered terrorism, I'm pretty sure, if you went around just like killing people. And also some of the reloads that we saw in the beta, the funny reloads and stuff like that. So they said it's gonna go back to, Battlefield, realistic military. So with that in mind, you would think that, since Battlefront is their next big money-making game, it's coming right next to the Star Wars movie, which is going to make a lot of money. Even if you aren't a Star Wars fan, I mean, you're seeing something that's back, from, like a long time ago, I guess coming back. I don't know exactly when Star Wars came out, but, a long time ago. A lot of people are going to just watch it just because of peer pressure and things like that. So that's like a big moneymaker right there. Then you put a game next to it where hardcore StarArs fans, that's a buy. If you ever played Battlefront 1 or 2, both great games. Suggest you play them. Battlefront 2 I think is on the PSP, but yeah, great games. So hardcore, Star Wars fanboys, they're gonna go for that. You know what I mean? So they wouldn't make their, mess up their money-making game and make it into a Call of Duty sci-fi Star Wars, is what I'm trying to say. If you ever like played Battlefront, it's a lot more fast-paced. There's a lot more things going on. Maps are a lot more smaller than Battlefield maps. It's not like a Battlefield. It's the closest the Battlefield franchise has ever been to Call of Duty. On my terms, I think it's the closest it's ever been. And I think that they wouldn't do something stupid like that, because, Battlefield Hardline got a lot of, bad feedback, I'd say, with the first beta that came out a while ago saying, oh, this isn't a real Battlefield, you know what I mean? I feel like Battlefield Hardline was more of a money-making game just to save up money, or just get some more money to put in for DLC with, Battlefront, DLC for future games, etc., making Battlefield 5 or Battlefield, whatever Battlefield is coming out. You know what I mean? So they wouldn't do something like that, and now if they did, there would be a lot of backlash, because that game has been waited for by Star Wars fans a lot, and I, including myself, and not that big of a Star Wars fan, but the games were fucking amazing. Like, who didn't want to go around as Darth Vader, wrecking shit? So if they would do something like that, it would mess up really bad. It would flop hard, and then right next to the movie, people would think the movie is flopping hard. It'd be a bad idea. So all in all, I think that it will not happen, and if it does, there would be some big mistakes going on. But like I said, there's 2 points. One, they said at one point, they said it would go back to its militarized standards, and, Battlefront is essentially a Star Wars Battlefield game, you know what I mean? And if it were to be a Battlefront just reskinned, let's say, give you an example, the Uzi. Let's say the Uzi is in there, and it looks like the Uzi is like a reskinned Han Solo's pistol. Not saying that it will be, because we've seen Han Solo's pistol. Or, yeah, we've seen Han Solo's pictures in one of the interviews. That would be a clear indication that they don't care. But they've been working on this game a while, so I have big hope in EA, which is saying something, because no one has a hope in EA or Ubisoft. But that's another video and another story for a different time. But I have, big hopes for EA, because their Battlefield games are nice. What I hope, hopefully what they don't do is make it a shitload of DLC, which I'll probably do anyway, but, at the end of it all, I think Battlefront will be its own Battlefield kind of game, where they would make sequel after sequel, just like Battlefield, but not more annualized, kind of like Battlefield is, more like randomized, put a lot of money into it, make it its own Battlefield, then you have Battlefront, and then you have Battlefield Hardline. So all those three things making big profits that can go along with the movies, which is why I think it will not be a reskin. Battlefield Hardline. Thank you for watching. Hope y'all enjoy. Please like and subscribe. See y'all later.